Welcome to Insights. Hope everyone's having a good weekend. We're going to talk about Bitcoin here to follow up other conversations we've had. This review is going to focus on its movement through the evolution of the trade. Click this link and study the four phases. If you're new to it, I encourage you to do that. Anyone who's been following any of these reviews and the matrix is probably becoming more and more familiar as time passes. Bitcoin's setup is pretty predictable. It's moving along. It was just through the alignment and energy phase, or phase three, through the reset 15 days ago. Now that's maturing. Bitcoin's pulling away and piling on a few extra return percentages. It's been up for 14 months, almost a 200% return, so everything's looking pretty good on that respect. What's changed now is energy has moved as the rally has taken place and moved higher. We're going to talk about that in a second. If everything's looking normal there, and it's as far as I'm concerned, it's there's nothing, no surprises there. Bitcoin's double up, and it's early, and there's the composite X bar for the composite cycle score is a mean score is still very low. It's below zero, so there's a lot of room for this left to for it to run. The weekly trend is still down. It needs to flip up if you want to get it to triple up. Triple up will help organize this to the high side and probably kick this up even higher. But for now, the monthly trend is up, and the cycles, this is the price and this is the time cycles, they look pretty good. And even on the daily, they're still looking pretty good. So there's more room to run if it can tap and pull down more of this energy. And I talk about energy here because some people are asking questions, and I'm sure they're trying to wonder, well, is this bullish energy build done? We have a WA of 10, we have a DI of minus 15, a DI2 of 51. The short answer is no. Anybody who's seen this, DI2 represents the longer term energy build, and at 51 it's still quite high. And if you want to create a blocking dome or any type of energy build that's going to reverse this alignment or reverse the primary trend, DI and DI2 would have to be much lower than this. And what we're going to watch for as the price tries to rally here is whether WA can expand. When a price jumps out of consolidation or a quiet market, WA tends to expand as the rally. That's just the confirmation. At 10, I think this was almost zero. So this is improving, and I suspect this number will grow if the price can continue to rally higher from here. So we're going to watch that. Let's take a closer look at some of these numbers. And these are the charts. This is Bitcoin. Bitcoin started to get interesting down here. And I think this is when people came out and said Bitcoin's still in a bear market, it's still not looking very good, still got to close above 40,000. This is GBTC. It was the equity tracker for Bitcoin, but it keeps defying that because the energy build was relatively strong, one of the strongest in the matrix, and the DI2 at 51% or 51 is still one of the highest inside the matrix. So there's a lot of energy left in this, and this is going to it usually energy is released as the price rallies. So this is still favorable and still will likely catch the bears off guard. Bitcoin is slowing here. We can see by the weekly reversals that it held this area here and generated a new reversal of which we started to move from. But we can see we're caught inside this area here, and subscribers can go and take a look in the reversal tab inside Bitcoins and pull down GBTC, and then you can take a closer look at where those reversals lie within Bitcoin itself, or the GBTC tracker. That we have to clear that, and if we can clear all these red lines, which some people might want to take some profits as we fall into them and energy is released. Some might wait until we jump the creek. The energy build's still good. The cycles are not extended, so yeah, there's really not much to do. But it's going to have to clear these red lines in order for price to jump the creek, and it should take some time. It's one of the reasons why I'm sure Bitcoin is starting to slow. If we zoom in, you can see here's price, and we're right into that first band. And of course, price slows as you get into that first band. So we might have to do some back and fill, and the back and fill process might even generate an uptick in the DI, probably not DI2, but at least DI. And I think we should take a look at that now. And this is important. This is Bitcoin's DI build and DI and DI2 and WA here. We had a large energy build. DI2 was almost above 60, and it's quite substantial. The fact that DI is falling here has people worried. Well, that's it. It's over. It's dissipated. Well, no, it's just been triggered. I mean, what we're starting to see now is DI2 is in the slow process of turning over and rolling over. If I can get this, if I take this over and pull this in, we can see that DI2 is going to move, and DI in general is going to move lower, and DI2 is going to fall somewhere down in here. So it's going to take some time to release this energy build that was accumulated, and we should see if this is a decent bona fide rally. We should see WA expand as we move higher here, and then the energy build continues to dissipate. This is just the early stages of dissipation. Dissipation is going to it would take a month. That's what I said, months and months. And I figured as the energy build continues to release, that Bitcoin would be one of the best plays within the matrix this fall. And until some of the trend loses its organization, either the daily must flip down, the weekly fails to go into up, or for whatever reason, the monthly trend itself would flip down. That would be the only thing that would end this and would force a liquidation of our core position, or at least anyone who's played the core position for 14 months would then finally get out. But that's people aren't going to really think about that until the price is really tumbling lower. There'll be some heads up. You're looking for reasons for profit taking. Reasons for profit taking would be an extreme bearish blocking dome, or a bearish energy build, or what I call a blocking dome, what we've referred to. We don't see that yet. We'd see some type of cycle extension in the daily. We don't see that. We'd see some type of cycle extension in the weekly. Well, the weekly's still down. So then you would have to flip it up, and then you'd have to see cycle extension. So we don't see that. And the monthly is pretty. There's no cycle extension either. So we're still traveling through the evolution of the trade. For those who are not familiar, click this link. Leave the link below the video. Follow that. Master the 4 phases and understanding. It'll help better understand how Bitcoin moves and how all assets move. Bitcoin's doing exactly what all other assets do, as they move and have the 3 trends, the 3 time frames realign and align and fall out of alignment, and what they consider ebb and flow within the primary trend, and it moves energy up and down. It's not doing anything that's unusual. It's actually starting to release the energy build, and we're doing this, and we'll frame this as now you can see we're getting very close to the bullish time frame of Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin's got a lot of seasonality. It's not very big history. That history tends to be very bullish. We just came off the slowest period in July, and now we're starting to pick up into the favorable time frame. So as long as there's an energy build that's there, and 51 is there, don't get fooled by the fact that the energy DI, which is the snapshot in time, has started to release. Releasing the energy build is what you're looking for, and that will power the price higher. But as long as this still is significantly above zero, you have weeks and months of energy to release still, and that should generate some type of bullish reaction in price. Doesn't always do that, but that's what it should do. That's what the odds favor. Energy builds have a pretty reliable the movement of them have pretty reliable indication of price direction. About 1 in 4 times it fails to move in the direction that the energy would suggest. And then what happens is it comes in later, and then it reforms that energy build, and then finally moves. But there is a failure rate, but the success rate is well above 50%. So you have to be careful not to take positions against energy. So anything that in terms of where we are in terms of the primary trend is up, we use energy to look as an excuse to get out. But there's just not enough bearish energy to say, yeah, that's going to slow the trend. So that's really the setup for Bitcoin. Bitcoin's looking pretty normal within the evolution of the trade. It's dissipating the energy build, and it's got more dissipation to give way, or more release of that bullish energy build, which should take weeks and months. And depends on how fast the price of Bitcoin moves. The faster it moves, the more energy it releases, and the faster it's going to pull DI2 down. But again, that process of pulling DI2 down is not something that happens within 1 week. I mean, the short-term traders are probably taking money off the table, but there's still plenty of energy to bounce this above the all-time high and generate a breakout. When it does that, though, we should have a situation where the energy build could be down in this region, and you'd be looking for more of an excuse for profit taking. Except the public, which I often call the majority, is going to be looking to jump into the trend when we're breaking above all-time highs. That's why they're the bag holder of almost every move. They're buying heavily here, they're buying heavily here, they're selling heavily here, they're selling here, they're disillusioned here into a bullish energy build. That's how it works. They come late to the party, they do the wrong thing, and that's why you have to learn to stand away from the majority, and that's what the matrix and the evolution of trade is all about. So the setup for Bitcoin is looking quite normal, and this is a good energy release. And I can't say what it's going to do going forward, but if it continues on this path, we're going to continue to rally despite whatever the experts are saying, and some of them are still, they don't believe that we're going to get a rally here. So if this continues to drop lower, if this goes from 15 down even to minus 60 and continue, and it will post those numbers for weeks, then this will pull this number down eventually. But even the process of doing that, it means that it's pulling more and more of the majority off of the sidelines, and that's a release of the energy build. And then the energy build is going to turn bearish, and then we're going to have a different conversation, and then we're going to say bearish things when everyone's bullish, because that's how this game works. If you have any questions about what we talked about, let me know. I hope that answers everything about in terms of energy that people have been asking. I've got a few other reviews to do for the weekend, but that's the setup. If you have any questions, let me know back at the blog. If not, I'm leave this review open, since it's not really giving away anything in particular. If you're considering and trading Bitcoin and you're watching this, I would probably subscribe to get access to this energy build, and to probably know when the daily time frames are extended, so I will stop chasing. Really, anybody who's following this has purchased their Bitcoin 15 days ago or 14 months ago, and we're not chasing, we're not doing anything. We're just looking for an excuse to get out, and that will show up in terms of either energy build or extension in the cycles. So that's really the evolution of the trades. Thanks for watching, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.